All right, let's dive in. Today, we're heading into the winding alleys of 1920s Cairo, right into the heart of a family that is ruled by a man of just staggering contradictions. I mean, by day, he is this pious patriarch who demands absolute, unquestioning obedience. But by night, he's out seeking all kinds of forbidden pleasures. This is the world of Naguib Mahfouz's Nobel Prize-winning novel, Palace of Desire, and it's really a story about a family that's caught between the iron grip of tradition and the really seductive pull of a brand new world.
So let's start with the man at the very center of all this, al-Sayyid Ahmad. You know, this quote, it isn't just about sadness. It really gets at this gnawing emptiness that just haunts him. In his own home, he's a titan, a guy whose presence commands respect and, frankly, a lot of fear. But behind that really formidable facade, there's this deep, deep sense of loss, like a ghost from his past that's always whispering about a life he can never get back.
And this internal void? Well, it basically forces him to lead two completely different lives. So in this first section, let's really dig into the two worlds of al-Sayyid Ahmad. The strict patriarch he is at home, and the hedonist he becomes the second the sun goes down.
So, after a year of mourning a lost son, a grief that we're told nearly broke him, he goes right back to the world of music, of drink, of these late-night gatherings. And he tells himself this whole story, that it's his duty to his friends, that he's just trying to lift their spirits. But the novel makes it crystal clear, this is just a lie, he tells himself. The truth is, he's addicted to this other life. He literally cannot live without.
And right here, this is the core contradiction that just defines this man. He's absolutely merciless in his judgment of his oldest son, Yasin, for chasing the exact same pleasures that he himself craves. So as he's condemning Yasin's behavior, there's a part of him that's just consumed with this desperate longing to go back to those music-filled nights. This internal war is what sets the stage for the conflicts that are going to tear this family apart.
So you have to ask yourself, right? How do you grow up in the shadow of such a powerful, contradictory father? Well, for his two sons, the answer is rebellion. But as we're about to see, they choose two completely different paths to try and escape his influence.
Okay, so Yasin, the older son, he basically becomes a mirror image of his father's secret life. He just dives headfirst into the world of physical pleasure, of carnal desire. But Kamal, the younger one, he recoils from all of it. He runs in the complete opposite direction, seeking refuge in the world of the mind, in the abstract beauty of philosophy, and this idealized, untouchable kind of love.
This one moment tells you everything you need to know about Yasin. The second he finds out his beautiful neighbor is divorced, it's like a switch is flipped. There's no moral debate, no hesitation, just this raw, primal instinct to pursue his desire. He is a creature of pure, unapologetic hedonism, maybe because it's the only language of freedom his father, in his own secret life, ever really taught him. Now contrast Yasin's raw impulse with the delicate, poetic words of Kamal's diary. His love for Aida isn't about the flesh at all. It's a form of worship. She's not a person to be possessed, but an ideal to be revered, a symbol of a purer, more beautiful world that he longs to live in, a world that is completely separate from his father's hypocrisy. And this world of ideas that Kamal is so invested in, it has a physical home, this strange underground coffee house that's described as being like the belly of an extinct beast. It's this dark, intimate space where he and his friends can just escape the rigid traditions of the world above ground and debate the very nature of life itself. It's really the perfect symbol for the subconscious, all these hidden intellectual currents flowing just beneath the surface of his family's life.
And you just know it's coming, right? These two worlds, the father's rigid, traditional values and the son's modern, intellectual curiosity, they are set on a collision course. And that collision is going to force everyone in the family to question their place in the world.
You can see the unbridgeable gap between father and son right here. And it's a gap that reflects a changing Egypt. For al-Sayyid Ahmad, education has a simple, practical purpose. It's a means to an end. It's about getting a respectable job and building a stable life. But for Kamal, that's a betrayal of what education is truly for. He believes that the pursuit of knowledge, of truth, is the highest calling a person can have, way more important than any salary.
The father's vision is totally rooted in his own experience. He wants Kamal to become a lawyer, a prosecutor, a judge, professions that carry weight, respect, and financial security in the world that he knows. It's a path he understands, a path that guarantees a certain kind of life.
Kamal's ambition, on the other hand, well, it's just completely incomprehensible to his father. He doesn't want a job, he wants a calling. He wants to be a thinker, to dedicate his life to the world of ideas.
And to his father, this isn't just impractical, it's a complete and total waste of a good education.
But Kamal's collision isn't just with his father. It's also with his own heart. The perfect, poetic love he has built up for Aida in his mind just crumbles when he's faced with the simple, painful reality she just sees him as a friend. She doesn't share this spiritual devotion he has. Her world is way more practical. And in one brutal moment, all of his romantic illusions are just shattered.
So what happens when the two pillars of your world, your family's values and your purest love, are just demolished? Well, for Kamal, this isn't the end. It's a painful beginning. He's forced to forge a new reality, one that's not built on inherited beliefs or romantic dreams, but on his own hard-won understanding of the world.
You can really see his journey as this painful path from ignorance to a new kind of wisdom. He starts with this pure, naive idealism, only to have it completely shattered by the harsh realities of his family and his own heart. But it's in that brokenness that he begins a new search, a lonely, difficult quest for a truth that belongs only to him, not one that he's inherited from his father or read in some book.
And this is where his perspective fundamentally flips. He no longer sees his father as this godlike figure to be feared. He sees him as a tyrant, sure, but a tyrant whose power is built on a foundation of ignorance. The fear starts to fade, and it's replaced by this kind of tragic understanding.
And his rebellion extends beyond his father. He starts to see his loving, gentle mother as another kind of prison. She represents ignorant tenderness, a connection to an ancient, unthinking past. He feels trapped between these two forces, his father's harsh, unyielding ignorance and his mother's soft, suffocating ignorance. He is, in his own words, a victim of these two opposites.
And that brings us to the central question of the entire novel, which Kamal asks himself as he's standing in a mosque, just performing these empty rituals between his father and brother. It's a question that echoes through generations. When do we stop being defined by our parents, our traditions, and our own illusions, and finally learn to stand on our own?